Arm waxing for guys. I'm going to carry out a waxing treatment for this client. Not always the most popular of the waxing treatment for men, but nevertheless it's a treatment that we need to provide at times for clients. Same principles apply when you're waxing any area of the body, so it's that pre-cleanse which is really important. The blue lotion will help to remove any sweat that's on the client's skin, help to cool the skin down a little bit, and also just gives you that chance just to look at the direction of hair and to do a quick analysis of the skin before you start to wax. The arms need to be waxed in various positions because of the way that the hair direction grows. I like to have my client lying down for their arm waxing, as I just find it that little bit more comfortable. So this is a drop of oil that we apply on the skin. Just make sure that it covers all of the skin and the hair, and make sure that there's no excess oil. If you do find that it feels a bit oily, then just take a tissue and just blot over the area. So this is where I like to start. For me, this is a nice easy starting point. Get your client in a nice comfortable position, their arms slightly raised above their head on the cushion is nice and supported for them. This is the Nacre Blanche, which is a sweet almond oil based strip wax from Perrin Rigaud. This client, it's his first time to have an arm wax. He has been shaving his arms for a few times before, so the hair growth is quite strong and in some areas a little bit short and prickly, but it will be interesting to see the outcome of that after the waxing as opposed to shaving. You need your clients to be able to cooperate in terms of the position. I find that asking them to put their fist in this position allows you to be able to work on the area coming up to the elbow. It's a bit like waxing the legs. It's one of those areas where you need the client to be able to help in terms of positioning themselves. When you're applying your wax, make sure that you apply wax to areas that you can easily access. So don't cover huge areas with wax if you then can't get in somewhere to start. So I tend to take a little bit longer with the waxing than maybe some other therapists do, but for me this works really well. This is the way that I like to position my client. Obviously other therapists and other trainers might have various methods that they prefer to use, but this works for me and for my clients, and this is the method I like to use. Again, always apply a drop of oil here and there if you feel that you need to do that, if the skin feels a little bit dry. Just working on the other side of the arm now. And again, just coming up with the strip wax. So you've cleared that point now, which makes it nice and easy. On this section, I find just putting the arm over the client's body like this will help you to have good access. As you can see here, it's nice and easy. And you're not going to get any wax anywhere else on the torso. If you feel that you're a little bit messier with your wax in terms of you have a lot more dribbles, then you might want to put a small towel or a piece of couch roll over your client's chest before you start to wax this section, so you're not going to have any hair to remove or wax to remove from other areas. I guess it's a bit like having a yoga session when clients come in to have their arms and their legs wax. They need to be fairly fit to be able to move around and keep themselves in the best working positions for us. When I used to do full body waxing clients for guys at the very start, I used to dread waxing arms and legs. Now when I do my full body waxes, I do these areas first and just get them out of the way. For therapists that prefer to use rollers, sometimes rollers can work quite quickly in these areas, but again, that's very much individual preference. I like a pot and spatula, and I find that works best for men's hair. And again, the client's still lying down, so nice and comfortable. That strip in the inner lower part of the arm is nice and easy to remove. Just cover through with lots of the strip wax. And the fact that the client drops their arm forward, it all helps with the stretch. Don't be frightened to take control of the client in terms of moving their arm and their hand where you need it to be. Sometimes clients can get a little bit tense, so just tell them to relax and tell them to go with what you need them to do. So I tend to move them around as what's the best working position for me, so that I can get a stretch and a good application and removal position. So the forearms, the section we're going to do next. So again, just a drop of oil, and obviously looking at the way that the hair grows. So you need to ensure that you do your application and removal in the correct direction. The fact that you've done the removal on the back makes it that little bit easier, because when you use your hand to create the stretch and support, then you've already got a hair-free area at the back. So this is the way that I like to wax the arms. It works best for me. As I said earlier, it's all about individual preference. And by keeping the hand tight on the arm, it really helps to support the skin. So when you're removing, the client's not going to feel too much discomfort, and there's not going to be too much bounce on the skin. If you don't support the skin correctly, the client's going to feel really uncomfortable when you're removing the wax strip. Plus there's a huge risk that you're going to break the hairs. And again, just follow through on any random sections that you need to. Just look at the direction, get your client in a position that's good for both of you, and remove the hair accordingly. When I do an arm wax, I always include the hands. It would seem quite silly not to. So it's the same with the legs. I include the feet and the toes. I've seen some pricing structures where they say that the feet's not included, but I would find that quite odd that somebody would want their legs waxed and then to have hairy toes or hairy feet left behind. Of course, the client may decide that they don't want those areas waxed, but most of us do. So for the wrist section, I find this is just a good position here where you can apply the wax and you can be able to turn the client's hand where you need to be, so you can get the application and removal correct. So a gently clenched fist like this is quite good for working on the hand section. This will help to keep the skin nice and taut. So when you're putting your wax on, the skin's supported, and when you go to remove, you can support as well. You sometimes need a few more rubs with your strip when you're dealing with the hands and the fingers. The skin can be slightly cooler, so obviously the wax can set up a bit, so you tend to need to give it a few more rubs. It's almost as if you're trying to start a campfire by giving it a few extra rubs with the paper strip. And just on those knuckle section as well, just make sure you get all those hairs removed. Hands and fingers can be a bit fiddly, and sometimes it can take as long to remove the hair on a smaller section as it does perhaps on the forearm or the upper arm section, where you can just do a much wider and faster application of wax. Again, because this client has been shaven, he also shaved his hands and fingers, then the hairs can be sometimes a little bit shorter and quite strong and a little bit more difficult to remove with wax. So I'm hoping that after his waxing experience today, that he decides to stick with waxing rather than shaving, and that he'll see the benefit of waxing. So just check to make sure that you've got all the hairs removed. I like to work with the Magni lamp because it just gives you that precision, and you can also see exactly what you've removed and if there's anything that's left that you need to go back. Also, with clients with very fair hair, it's sometimes very difficult, especially if it's very fine, to see with normal lighting, so the Magni lamps are great for waxing therapists. Again, the smaller waxing spatches, as you've seen earlier, are just great for applying wax to the fingers and the toes, as you can be a little bit more precise and not having wax in areas where you don't want it to be. If you find the hair is not removing so easily on the fingers, then just an extra drop of oil just underneath the wax will help to give you a better and quicker removal of your wax. Again, with clients that have been shaven, you tend to find little stubbly hairs that can be a little bit more difficult to remove. When I have clients that come to me that have been shaven, I do discuss quite clearly with them the benefits of waxing, and also that it'll be much more comfortable if they can stick with the waxing treatments rather than shaving in between. Also, it's a bit of a waste of money if you're going to come for a waxing treatment and then go and do some shaving in between. Clients see much better results, and they see a much improved hair regrowth period and the way that the hair grows back if they can stick with just the waxing. Post-waxing is exactly the same, so obviously cool the skin down with a little bit of sanitizer. Here we've just got some on a cotton pad, which will help to remove any excess product that's left on the skin. And then we've got a little bit of the refreshing gel. The refreshing gel is really soothing on the skin after waxing, especially for this client because he's been shaven. He also shaved his hair less than 3 weeks ago, so I guess it was slightly more uncomfortable and a little bit more reactive because of that. But it's all come out really well, and he's really pleased. Another waxing convert.